Hi, everybody. My name is Stephanie Kraft, and I'm going to attempt to share with you some experiences that I've been having recently. I will try to find the words to explain. For a while, I was inside a lot because I was working on some projects that were time sensitive. But every time I went outside, the wind, the very gentle, soft breeze, the air would come to me, envelop me, and touch my skin as if the air were thick with love and it had a consciousness. So it was as if the air and the breeze were coming to greet me. So I would walk outside and I would be surrounded and enveloped by this tangible, loving energy that I could feel on my skin that felt like it knew me, that it was coming to greet me and surround me. And I don't want to say fill me up because it was more of surrounding me. And it did feel that it had a consciousness to it that was love and loving. And it wasn't only the air that was saturated with this living love, it was that the light coming down from the sun had a different quality to it. And I live on a lake. So when I went outside, I would glance over at the in between some of the houses, you can see the water. And this is in the front part of my house. The back part, it's directly on the water, but this was a different experience. When I would go outside to the front and I looked between a couple of houses where I could see part of the lake, and the light coming down onto the lake, onto the little waves, glistened with sunlight, sparkled and shined in such a way that it's hard to describe, but more beautiful and more rich with a divine light than that is normally apparent. And after a few days of experiencing this, what I call heaven on earth, because it was so profound, and it was every time I would go outside. And after a few days of experiencing this, I was listening to someone describe their near-death experience. Now, I listen to near-death experiencers all the time, explain on video, explaining their experiences. So when I was experiencing this every time I went outside, it reminded me of their stories, of how they felt when they got there, when they got home to the other side. And this particular day, I was listening to one, and I had just been trying to explain my experiences to someone. And this video of this near-death experiencer, I don't remember if it was a she or a he, said the same thing that I said, which was, it was as if the air was full of love, and it was tangible and I could feel it. And this was exactly what I was just explaining and exactly what I had been experiencing. And it's hard to describe the feeling. And I know a lot of near-death experiencers have a hard time explaining it. I think they all do an amazing job explaining these things. And I find it hard to describe to bring across the feeling. But it was like I was greeted by a consciousness that was love, but I could also feel it on my body, on my skin, in the air, in the sunlight. I could see it. I could see it the way the light was shining on the water. I could see it in the water, shimmering. I could see it in the lighting on the trees. It's indescribable, and it was profound. And I'm talking about it as if it's in the past tense, but it's been happening to me for a while now. I would say weeks, probably not months, maybe a couple months at the most. And I just wanted to share because it's like I've been studying near-death experiences for probably at least 20 years, maybe, well, actually a little bit longer than 20 years. And I've always enjoyed listening to these stories of what it feels like. And I never thought that I would experience that while on Earth. And now that I have been experiencing these feelings, these sensations, this all-encompassing feeling, then I realized that heaven really is on Earth, that heaven on Earth is real, and that we can all experience it. Well, I shouldn't say we can all experience it because I don't know. I don't know if everyone will experience it. I don't know why I have been experiencing it. If I knew the formula of how to get there and I could make a list and share it with you, I would. But I think that it comes down to following your passions, your interests, focusing on your immediate sphere of influence, your immediate life, the life that you're living on a day-to-day basis, and the people that you interact with directly in person or, over the phone or whatever, on a day-to-day basis. And that tuning out the noise of the outside world, the world that's beyond your own sphere of influence. Now, I know that we're all connected and we're all one, so maybe nothing is beyond that, but I think you can get the sense of the idea of what it's like to focus on your life and your world, the immediate world that you affect versus whatever is happening in other parts of the world or in the country. So I feel that I had done that to a great degree, like an extreme degree of just focusing on my life. Because, like I said, I was working on projects at home that were time sensitive. So I had a lot of focus and hard work to do every day for many hours. And so I would only go out a little bit to, we all have to go out from time to time to go to the store or, different places. And so every time I would go out, I would experience this heaven on earth. And I wasn't experiencing it per se in my house. I was only experiencing it when I would go outside, and it would be very noticeable. It was like when I stepped outside, the breeze would rush to me as if it were greeting me. And it was like the softest touch. I'm remembering now it was happening also. I have a deck on the back side of my house. Like I said, the lake is on that side. So there's a deck, and I would step out onto the deck when this first started happening several weeks ago, and I could feel it, and the breeze would come, and the sun, I can't find new words to explain, but I'm just remembering more times of this happening when I was going outside onto my deck in the back. And so there's a softness to it. and a love, and it's tangible and it's conscious. I felt a consciousness within the air and the love. And so anyway, that is my experience or I should say, my explanation of experiencing heaven on earth. And I know that there are so many other ways that we can experience heaven on earth. And it's not just in the ways that I just explained, it's also with people. The love that we can experience for people, with people, the compassion, the forgiveness, the kindness. And so that's a profound way that I know many people, including myself, have experienced the depths of that, all of those things that I just, listed, that could also be considered experiences of heaven on earth. But this is the first time I felt it in the air, in the light, in the sun, in the breeze. So maybe I will experience it more if I go hiking or walking in the forest. So if I do have more experiences to share along these lines, I surely will. And I hope that you get to experience these things as well in your life at some point or ongoing. Thanks so much for listening, and I hope you have a beautiful day or night wherever you are.